Hey Scott, how's it going?
Doing well. Doing well. Yourself?
Doing great. So to start, I think the first time we ever talked to each other was a rom-com. The second time we talked to each other was like drama, and now it's an action movie. So I do have to ask, as we collect every single genre throughout our interviews, what for you is the fun of getting to kind of dive into a different genre every time you do a new movie?
That keeps it exciting. I mean, some movies are, um, more serious in tone. If you're telling a true story, if it's a drama, if it's heavy material. Um, and then you have movies like this that are just like a fun popcorn movie. You don't have to really think too hard. You get to go on the ride. And it's good to pepper in all those. Like I wouldn't want to do, just that, and I wouldn't want to do just, like a meaningful drama, or I would want to kind of change it up.
Yeah, and I like about this movie too that it feels like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but like after the movie, like when they were honest with each other and like the movie kind of has come to an end, that's kind of their relationship, I
Yep.
feel like. But how fun is it to play a guy who is quote unquote out of the game and is forced back into something like this? And so you have that like reluctance that you get to play throughout it.
Yeah, it was fun. I like that reluctance. It's like I don't want to be doing this. This is not what I want to be doing. And there's like humor in that. Because he doesn't want to do it. And I love that it's like, she's like fully in, and he's like, oh. So I like that.
Was it cool getting to work with Stallone in like the little scenes you guys have are very funny because it is a mind game, but also then all of a sudden the two will just like attack each other and then they go back to like working each other out on like an intellectual level.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is fun. It's super. I was like, for first off, just getting to work with Stallone was like a great, sort of bucket list thing, and then getting to like see how he works and dissects material is he's really sharp. So that was fun to get to learn from him.
And when you're introducing something like Alarum, which is an original idea about like a spy organization or whatever they end up actually being classified as, is that daunting for you as an actor that it is all new and it isn't like something that the public will know? And so you guys are giving it to us for the first time?
No, because it kind of stays a mystery, which I think is kind of interesting. It's like, what is it? I don't know. We don't know,
Yeah.
and I,
Which I
I like
do.
it. It's
Yeah.
like a mystery.
Yeah. And it makes the movie, I think, a little bit more like you're not bogged down by the MI6 or the CIA or whatever it is of it all, where you're like, well, that's not how that would work because we don't know how it would work. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah.
or we don't know. Um, but I do love that relationship between these two characters and how they are a loving husband and wife, but they have their moments where they're like they tease each other in a way that's very cute. Like when she's like, "Why don't you just go flirt with the girl who said that destiny is a French word or whatever the word is?" How do you kind of work on making those relationships very real but pop in a movie that is like we're very reliant on the action sequences?
Yeah, I think it's just like it's making sure the material is got some levity to it, making sure we really dive into those things before we get on set. Like, okay, how can we make this more interesting? How can we make it pop? How can we like what are people arguing about? Like let's ground it in reality, let's kind of like explore those things and like dissect them further so when we get to shooting it we have some options and we have some ways to go with it.
And I always ask actors this when they do a lot of different kind of action movies or characters who hold guns, for instance, because each character has to hold a gun in a different way or interacts with their action in a different way than a previous character. How do you approach how a specific character would shoot somebody or stab somebody versus something you've done in the past?
Hmm. Well, I don't know if I ever thought about it like a different way to hold a gun because that's it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll think about that in the next one. But I think you know, some people can hold a gun well and some people can't. And if you know what you're doing and you can look good at it, and if you don't, you look a little silly at it. And I think I just try to do it where you look good doing it.
You're like, I need to look cool. So the objective is how
And
does
we got
this
to
make
look
me look?
cool, we can't look sloppy.
You can't be a sloppy guy, you gotta be a cool guy.
Yeah,
Um, I do love this movie because I love Mike Coulter's doing a voice, and I think it is such a fun, weird choice when you're acting opposite of that, and you have to kind of be like this serious, like I used to be a secret agent, man, and I can stab people, and then you have French, maybe Mike Coulter responding to you. How do you
yeah,
guys work on those scenes to make them very real when I'm laughing? Because I'm like, that's Luke Cage, like making a
yeah.
voice.
He's doing a shtick, right? Doing a thing. Yeah, it was cool. It was just like he went with it. He like made a choice and did something different. And I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. I didn't see this coming. So that was fun.
It was, but I do have to ask too, everyone else gets to have really cool outfits or wigs that they get to take off. And then meanwhile, you're just kind of like, I'm
Normal
a
guy.
jacket.
I was like, I know. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm trying to be out of this like spy game. Y'all are showing me up.
Do you have though, where if they asked you and they're like, okay, you get one crazy outfit, you get to make yourself look like anything in the world. Do you have one that you're like, I kind of want to one day have somebody dress me up like this guy?
I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to like do a spy scene where you're like you have to dress up as Santa Claus or something. Santa Claus carrying a gun. That would
Yeah,
be cool. Yeah.
in Die Hard,
Automatic weapon. I like it.
Santa with an automatic. You and David Harbour need to meet up in Violent Night like 2, but it's like mall cop versus Santa.
Yes. Love it.
For my last question, with a movie like this, like you said, it is a popcorn movie, so it is one of those action movies that people can just kind of watch and really enjoy. You and Stallone and Coulter and all these people we like watching do action. What is the most exciting part about making a quote unquote popcorn movie that allows people to just enjoy themselves in a movie theater?
Well, I think it's just, it just is what it is. It's like doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be it just needs to be fun. You need to get on the ride and you don't need to like think so much. Sometimes it's material, it can be kind of somber or it can be, heavy material. And this you just it's like, cool, great. Guns, action, spy, espionage, give me the popcorn, give me the thing, let's go.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. Before I leave, I have to say I can't wait for the next Fast and the Furious movie because that's my franchise. I love my family. Um,
Yep,
and
let's do it.
and I can't wait for everyone to get to see Alarum.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great one.